What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. Today we are working on a Tracker Topper 1542. This is a brand new boat, the 2026 model. It's a completely welded John boat. Pretty good size. For being as small as it is and as lightweight as it is, you got a lot of room inside of here. The 15, the 42. 42 is a big difference between the 36. Not as big as the 48, but the 42 in the floor definitely helps out. I'm sure this thing is a lot more stable than the 36-inch floors, but we're going to be putting some pods on this thing. He's got a 20 horsepower Mercury outboard, goes on the back of this boat, and he said that it just sits a little low, and he wants to kind of bring the back end up a little bit. This boat only weighs 190 pounds. 190 pounds. That's crazy. I mean, I've got like 30 pounds on this boat. To imagine that this thing is 15 foot long and it only weighs 190 pounds, that's crazy. You can literally pick this thing up and drag it down to the water without a trailer, which is one of the cool things about it, but he doesn't use it that way. So I'm not 100% sure about the longevity of this boat. These things are kind of new, and I've seen some people with issues online. I don't know. We're going to have to let him take this thing and try it out for a year or two to get a real review on it. But if you guys have one of these, I want to know about it. I want to know what you guys think about it. If you had issues, if you love it, whatever, leave a comment about that. I'm going to turn this camera around and show you all the rig real quick, and then we're going to get these pods welded up on here. Let's get right into it. All right, so here we go, guys. He did pay extra for the paint job. He said it was like an extra $500 to get the paint job. Now, these Tracker, they have gone with these orange numbers. He obviously put those on there, but their logos are the orange with these new models. I think it's kind of cool. Now, he obviously did some work to this. He took this hatch out of here. This thing comes stock with a live well in here, and he didn't want to have that in here because he's got no storage in his boat, so he's going to use this for storage. And he said that this hatch had the live well on it. Live well couldn't have been so big because, well, that hole's not very big, so it's probably not much of a live well anyways, and obviously it's gravity fed, so he tore that out. He's going to put the hatch back in, use that for storage. But, I mean, all in all, you got a lot of room inside of this boat. Let's see what it's rated for. 3 people or 400 pounds, 25 horsepower motor restriction. So not bad. I mean, he said that with the 20 on here, he's running high 20s. I mean, I figured he'd do that all day long. Boat only weighs 190 pounds. So he does have issues with it porpoising because he's got no weight in this thing at all. And he needs some weight up front. Might throw a trolling motor in there. He's going to put his battery inside of that bench right there. That's going to help him out a little bit. But when you're sitting here, motor's here, you know, you got 300 pounds of man and motor right here easily and nothing up front. So it's going to porpoise. But he's got some pods here from Beaver Tail. People hate on these pods. I don't see any issue with them. I think they're perfectly fine. I've used these a bunch, and there's nothing wrong with them. The only thing that sucks is that we're going to have to add some pieces around the top and the sides because it's not the right degree. I don't know which boat that is made for, but I've welded on dozens of them, and I've never been able to find the boat that it fits perfectly on. We always have to do this, but I'll show you guys how we do that in just a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them up there and draw some lines on it, and unfortunately, we're going to have to grind all this fresh, nice-looking paint job off of here and get down to some bare metal. That way, we can weld them on. Now, this hull is completely aluminum. There is no wood in this transom at all. It's just aluminum, which is awesome because sometimes what happens is when you got wood inside of this transom, even if it's new, it's going to be touching up against the backside of that metal. And once you heat that metal up hot enough for it to melt, then that wood gets hot and starts smoking, and that smoke comes into the weld and it just pops a hole in it. So that's one of the major issues about welding pods on. You got to be careful, especially if it's got wood in the transom. But we don't have to worry about that. So we should be good to go. Only thing we might have to worry about is there might be a little bit of foam behind this piece, but I don't know. Regardless, we're going to figure this out. I'm going to put you guys on the hyperlapse. I'm going to get this back in, cleaned up real good, and then we'll circle back and get these pods on here. See you back later. All right, guys, so we got the back end of this boat cleaned up. Pretty simple. I just hit this up with a little flapper disc. Basically, I went about 1.5 inches above my line because I'm probably going to have to put a piece of aluminum up here. I'm probably going to turn it up 1 inch and back like 1 inch, 1.25 inches, depending on how big of a gap we got in here, but we're going to have a gap in here. I guarantee you that. I already held them up there. We're definitely going to have a little gap in there, but this is pretty simple. Clean up. Now comes the fun part. I'm gonna hold each pod up on either side. I like to use a ratchet strap for this. I'll hook it up underneath the bottom, bring it up and around the top. Might even just hook it to this handle right here. That's probably what I'm gonna do. And I'll crank that ratchet strap down just to hold it in place, both of them. And then I will tack this corner down here, this bottom corner. We're gonna tack one here, and then we'll tack one here. Then we're gonna put a straight edge across them and clamp that straight edge to the pod on both sides. That's very important because you want this thing to look like it was installed by somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And if these pods are kicked up in the air or different, well, it's going to look stupid. So that straight edge is going to keep us straight across the top. And once I get them on the bottom corners, then we'll hinge that whole apparatus up or down. It's going to be going down till we get it to the right height, which is a 1/2 inch difference from where they're mounted on the transom to the outside edge of the pod. Now, I'm going to do something that I've never done because, well, I never had this machine before until just a couple days ago, but we've got this new ArcCaptain Tig 200 DC machine, and, well, let me just tell you guys, this thing is sick. Let's turn this thing on real quick. This machine is on Black Friday sale right now. It's about $650, and it's badass, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the fan in there is kind of loud, but it just comes on for a minute when you start it or when it's hot, but it'll cut off in a second. But check out the welds I did with this. Now, I'm going to be doing some review videos and stuff on this machine, but I mean, this is 1/8 inch thick aluminum, and it just ate this up at 155 amps, so I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it can do what that $4,000 Miller machine is doing, so we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it. I'm going to put you guys back on the hyperlapse. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so you got them tacked on. Now look, this welder, this thing is excellent. I mean, it works very well. The only thing about it that is kind of a downfall is this. It's a straight trigger. It doesn't have any heat control. So, you know, like on my normal machine, I have a torch that has a dial on it. So you can control the heat, and you can see that that one hooks in with an Ethernet cable. Well, I was going to put one of those on this machine, but this has like this little 4-pin prong connector on here. It's right here. It's actually a 5-pin. You can't adapt this unless I haven't seen it. I'm hoping that there's an adapter for it because I want to put a heat control on the thumb, but it honestly works pretty good. I mean, you set it and forget it. Basically, I'm running 155. And that's fine as long as I don't have any gaps or any imperfections or anything like that. You gotta get a steady tempo to roll with it if you're gonna have it at one continuous amperage out. So, I mean, that's the only downside to this, but I mean, it works fine. I went ahead and tacked these. You know, I got some good looking welds up underneath there, using it like it is. But I did run into one issue. Let's go around to the other side. I'm gonna set you guys up on a tripod. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about because, well, I need 2 hands to do this. So look, that side on the other side was flush. So this is our issue on the other side. But if you look here, look straight down it, it's flush. This thing sticks in just behind the side of this hole. That's what you want. When the water is running back here, you don't want this sticking out. It's going to catch the water and it's going to mess the whole ride up and everything. So it's got to be flush or sitting in just a little bit. Sitting in a little bit is not going to hurt you. Same thing with sitting up a little bit. We actually had to sit this up about 3/16 of an inch off the bottom right here, and I've got it damn near flush with this. So on the other side though, I ran into an issue. I tacked the pod on this corner right here, and then once you drop it down, well, this side sticks out a little bit on this side over here. So I had to cut it. I moved it over. And now what we're left with is a little bit of an inset right here. It's about 3/16 of an inch. It's kind of hard to see it, but at the top, it's flush. And it's not a huge deal. It's just the difference in this hole being put together and these sides being a little bit different angle. I mean, you're not talking much, maybe 2 or 3 degrees, but you know, over this span right here, it's enough where I had to move this pod over about a quarter, maybe 3/16 of an inch. And what that did to me was put me flush here, and it put me sitting in just a little bit right there. Not a big deal. The main thing about installing these pods though is the height. So let me put you guys on this little tripod real quick. And I'll show you how this works and why it's so important. Because this is the most important part about installing pods, period. Okay? There we go. That's pretty good. So you want to have a 1/2 inch difference from this point here, where the pod starts hanging off the boat, to this back end point right here. The way you figure that out is you run a straight edge up underneath the bottom of the hull, like so. Now we've got a small gap here because we had to bring this pod up just a little bit. It's about a 1/4 inch. So out here on the end, we're at 3/4 of an inch. You subtract that 1/4 inch from up here, that puts us at a 1/2 inch difference, and that's exactly what you want. So we're sitting pretty right there. I went ahead and tacked these pieces on the side. Everything's good to roll. That is the most critical part about installing these pods, is that you have that rise. And the reason for that is once you hop up on plane, you don't want this thing to be the same as the bottom of the boat because it's going to cause drag. But you want it to have a little bit of an incline. A 1/2 inch is a sweet spot, because once you hop up on plane, then this is kicked up a little bit. It will help you get your whole boat running a whole lot smoother. And I mean, bottom line, that's the way you got to do it. I've installed a lot of them, and if you don't do that, then, well, you're not going to be happy. So now I got my little sheet on the side right here. I got to cut another one just like this to put up on the insides of both of these pieces. And then in here, I'm going to make a little angle, maybe like a 1 by 3/4. I'm going to make that and go ahead and get this whole thing tacked up. I don't know if I'm going to get it all welded out tonight, but I'm going to at least try to get these pieces tacked on here so that I can weld it out tomorrow. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so the pods are on. It turned out great. That little welder did an amazing job. I mean, it really did a good job, especially for the first time ever using the thing. I mean, I'm impressed, I'm not gonna lie. You guys can do the same thing that I do. That little welder over there for 650 bucks. It laid some good beads on here. Underneath the bottom. Those turned out really good up underneath there. That's money. Our angles and everything is good on these. I'm hoping that this helps him with his porpoising a little bit. Might help keep it down a little bit. I guess we'll have to see when he takes it out, but looks good. I did weld up that little live well hole too. That was hard, getting up inside of there and then welding it. And this is already a hard weld because it's a flat weld like that. Started sucking down on me a little bit on this side over here, but we got it. It's welded. Airtight. You see, we can see the bottom of this. Yeah. We got a nice weld on there. I'm gonna come grind that a little bit. The way I did that, I welded around the outside, and then I just came back and kind of filled it in just a little bit. That way I can grind it, and it should be pretty smooth underneath there. all in all, though, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We'll see how she does out on the water. I'll hear back from the customer. It's a wrap. The welder killed it, man. Turned out good. I'm impressed with the welder. The only thing about it that I will probably upgrade is the ground on it. The clamp on it is all right. It's kind of small, but the actual cable coming out of the clamp, it's a little bit thin, and it seems like the rubber coating on it isn't as thick as it should be, because I ran that machine over an hour straight just welding, and it didn't miss a beat. The only thing with the ground wire is it got pretty hot, and I could smell the rubber on it kind of melting a little bit. I couldn't find any spots in it where it actually did melt, but you could smell it, and it was definitely coming from that ground wire. But you could easily swap out that ground wire. I mean, it cost you like maybe 30, 40 bucks to get a new ground for it. And other than that, the thumb control on it, I mean, it is functional. It's just an on-off button, so it doesn't give you the heat control, which is something that I really like having on a thumb control, because it makes it a whole lot easier when you're in tight spots to control your heat and, you know, make sure that your weld bead is nice and smooth. But it's $650, guys, and I just used it to do a $600 job on this boat. So technically, the thing could literally pay for itself in one job easily. So I think it's a good investment for anybody that's wanting to get into welding and just starting out. It's not that expensive, and it's something that you could set up in your garage on 110 and play around with it and watch some videos and literally teach yourself how to weld. Because the thing about welding is practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and then the easier it will be for you. It's kind of like riding a bike. You just get it, and then you don't never forget how to do it. So it's definitely a good tool. If you guys are going to be working on boats, I think it's a necessity. So if you guys are interested in that machine, I'll leave a link in the description of the video. Go check it out. Use my code TRICK10s. You'll save some money on it. And I really think that it is a perfect entry-level machine. They're running Black Friday deals until, I think it's sometime in December. So you got a little bit of time past Black Friday. Regardless, guys, go check the thing out. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this project. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's get back to work.